All right, guys, so welcome to Real Estate 101 Part 2 of hard money loans, hard money lending. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that follow button, guys, because I'm here to just give you guys so much value that I've paid over 6 figures for over the last 6.5 years, and I'm just here to give this all to you guys for free. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so today, again, Part 2, hard money loan. Now, in the Part 1 of the video, we went through just kind of the fundamentals, the basics of hard money loans, right? We went through the terms of figuring out, okay, what's the typical rates, what's the typical term, points, what is LTV, what is LTC. We already went through all that. Now we're gonna go through the actual calculation of the numbers. So whenever you guys are running your numbers, let's just say now you found a deal that you wanna buy yourself, and now you wanna see about getting hard money loan for the property so that you can get the financing, close quickly, flip the property, and make money, because that's what it's all about, right? The number one rule in real estate is to never lose money. So it's all about the dollar. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So in this example, we're gonna keep it really simple for you guys, okay? So we have an ARV of 200,000, a purchase price of 100,000, and a repair budget estimate of $30,000. Now, we're gonna be using the average terms for a hard money loan in this example, just to keep it simple. So the average rate for hard money is 12%. The average term is 12 months. The average points you're gonna origination fee, points you're gonna pay up front is 3%. The average LTV, loan to value, is 70%. And the average loan to cost, meaning your purchase price, is 90%. So these are the terms we're gonna use in this example. And again, depending on your specific hard money lender or what you qualify for, these terms may change, but that's okay. If the terms change, just switch them out, but the calculation still works. It's the same type of calculation. You may just need to change out the numbers here when doing your calculation, all right? So let's get to it, guys. So again, ARV 200,000, PP is your purchase price. That means we have this property under contract for $100,000, and we have a repair budget of $130,000. Okay, so let's figure this out. Let's see what the loan is gonna look like. What is this hard money loan actually gonna cost me with real numbers? So we first gonna start with the rate, okay? The rate is 12%. Now remember, we said LTV is your loan to value. So this is a quick calculation to know if the ARV is 200,000, my purchase price is 100,000, what's the most amount of money I can get for this, for a loan for this property? Now remember, 70% of LTV, which is loan to value, but for hard money, it's really loan to ARV, but it's still value, right? Loan to value. So 70% of the ARV, I'm gonna put the numbers over here. So 70% of the ARV times 200,000, 200K equals 140K. So this is the maximum amount of a loan that you can get for this property is $140,000, okay? That's gonna be your max loan amount. Now, we have the points. Your points is gonna be based off of the loan that we're gonna calculate, and then we'll kind of back into it when we go back up here to the rate. Now, 90% is your loan to cost. Loan to cost, that's your LTC. That's your loan to your purchase price, which you're getting the property under contract for. Now remember, in this example, we said the purchase price is $100,000. So you're gonna get up to 90% of your purchase price as a loan. So you're gonna do 90% times 100,000, 100K, and that's gonna give you $90,000. Okay? Now the other thing that we add for hard money loans is hard money loans will give you up to 90% of your purchase price, but they'll finance 100% of your repair budget. So in this example, the repairs is $30,000. So we already know if we don't have any repairs in this loan, we're not making any repairs to this property, the maximum loan that this property would qualify is $140,000. But remember, they're only gonna give you up to 90% of the actual cost for the property. So this is kind of the limitations. This is kind of the ceiling in terms of what they're gonna give you for this specific loan. So they're actually only gonna give you $90,000 to finance this property, even though it qualifies up to $140,000, but your purchase price is not up to that price, right? This is how they hedge their risk, okay? Now again, remember I said they will finance you up to 100% of your repair budget. So simple numbers, your loan, what is your actual loan amount gonna be here? Now again, always remember the maximum you can qualify, the maximum amount of money, purchase, your costs, your repairs, closing costs, the maximum loan that they will give you is $140,000. So we know we still have room between the 90 and the 140 that we can still get. Now the difference between that two is gonna be your repair budget. In this example, we calculated a repair budget of $30,000. So $90,000 is 90% of our $100,000 purchase price. So we can add another $30,000 for our repair budget, okay? So that's 30K. So 90K, let me clean this up a little bit so you guys can see this a little bit better. So this is gonna be, our repair budget is gonna come down here. So our repairs is $30,000 plus the $90,000 up loan that we're gonna get, so 90 plus 30K equals $120,000, okay? So this is the loan that you would actually qualify for, that you would be able to get for this property. That's how it's calculated for hard money loans. So in this example, you're gonna get $120,000 in financing for this property. I already talked about how repairs are actually on a draw, so you're not gonna get the $30,000 at closing, but they're gonna do it in a draw system. And you can Google that. It's just broken in down of you pay the money up front first, and then once you finish each phase of the repair, the lenders basically refund you that money. So you spend $10,000, they come out, inspect the property, they say, yep, you've done at least, $10,000 would be 1/3 of the repair budget. They're gonna see that you've done everything up to about 30% of repairs, and they'll cut you a check on the spot for the $10,000. You get that $10,000 back, and then you go up, deploy it again for the next phase of repairs. So this property qualifies for a $120,000 loan. Now let's look at hard money. Now this is the thing that a lot of people get, kind of scares them when it comes to hard money, and honestly it scared me. I have an accounting background. Before I got into real estate, I was like, who in the world would accept a 12% loan? But everything comes down to your mindset, guys. So if you shift your mindset and how to look at leverage and look at money, you're gonna realize the power of hard money, especially if you haven't built relationships, building your own capital, private money lenders. You gotta start somewhere, right? This is a lot of times where most people start as real estate investors. Now let's go back to this and look at this again. This is what I'm talking about, shifting your mindset. Now, a lot of times people look at this loan and be like, there's no way I would do a hard money loan because it's a 12%, it's a high interest loan, it's shark lending, I don't want to be a part of that. Well, I'm going to give you something to think about that's going to shift your mindset and see it from a different lens. Now, the rate on this is 12%, but remember we said this is a 12-month loan, okay? Your interest rate, whether it's a 6-month loan or a 12-month loan, your interest is an annual number. It's an annual rate, okay? So think about this. You're only going to pay 12% if you keep the loan for 12 months for an entire year, because 12% is the rate that you're going to pay for an entire year of being up under that loan. But guess what? That's why it's so important, why you have to develop your systems and your processes to make sure that you're moving quick with your rehabs, with your fix and flips, getting the work done, getting the property sold. Because guess what happens? If this project, from the time you buy it, close and fund, do your full remodel, put it on the market, get it staged, get photos and everything, put it on the market, get it sold, close and fund it again, if that process only takes you 6 months, okay? 6 months equals 1/2 of a year. Now we said 12% is for the full year because that's the annual rate. But if it only takes you 6 months to do this flip, really you're only paying 6% of interest. Think about that. Is that really a lot of money if you're gonna make $30,000 on the property, $40,000 on the property, $50,000? Absolutely not. It's 6% interest. So you have to shift your mindset. And then think about this when you get really good at flipping. Now the average flipper that actually is really doing this business, that really knows how to get these deals quick, get the rehabs done, they have their crews, or they have subcontractors who they have relationships with, your average flips is gonna be like 3 to 4 months because you're moving. You know, time is money. And this is what I mean by that. Time is really money when it comes to real estate investing. So let's just say you get really good and now you're down to your flips are only taking 3 to 4 months. Let's just say 4 months on the high end. 4 months equals 1/3 of a year. 1/3 of 12% is 4%. Now this money's only costing you 4%. You can't even get that from a bank right now, right? Bank loans right now, I mean, you think about bank rates right now, you think of 8%, that's crazy, but in this short-term financing, you're spending 4% is your expense, your interest, when you're gonna be making a much higher return, 15, 20+% return on your money. It's just the cost of doing business, guys. So if you shift your mindset, shift your thinking about money, you now can realize like, hey, I've been thinking about hard money all wrong this entire time. So again, it's only expensive if you use the entire year to flip a property. And if it's taking you an entire year to flip a property, at least you're an average 1,500 square foot property, you're doing a full remodel, it should not take you guys a year. Now, if you're doing a new construction build, you're building an entire house and you're going all the bells and whistles and just everything is just ridiculously to the top quality that you possibly can do, then yes, it's gonna take you that amount of time. But your average flip should only take you 4 to 6 months. That's it. So the max you should be using is only half of this rate, which is 6%. That should be the max, guys. That should be the goal. So when we're looking at this, your loan balance, this right here is what's gonna be your principal, okay? So this is what your interest is gonna be paid off of. You're gonna be paying interest on $120,000. Now I'm gonna erase some of this so we can make some space, okay? We already know our ARV is $200,000. We know we're buying this property for $100,000, and we know our repairs is $30,000, okay? So we have these numbers here. So I'm gonna go ahead and erase this because we've got it moved up here, okay? So you guys already understand this. 6 months is a half a year. We got all this. We could take some of this down. All right, cool. So here we are. So now $120,000 is your principal loan. So let's bring this up here now. So now we can see it from the top numbers. Now we're gonna start running our numbers. $120,000 is our principal, okay? Now I like to think of this on a monthly basis because that's how you should be looking at your debt. Think of it on a monthly basis. Don't think of it on an annual basis because the numbers are gonna look, it's gonna be deceiving, right? It's gonna look like a lot more than what it really is. $120,000 at a 12% interest rate equals 1% per month, okay? 12% divided by 12 is 1%. So that means you're paying 1% per month. That's why when we looked at these examples, if you're using 6 months, it's 6 months times 1%, which is 6%. If it only takes you 3 months to flip these properties, it's 3 months times 1%. That means it's only 3%. Now, when we're flipping these properties, when we're buying some of these properties as is, and we will be at 12% interest rate, and we're in and out some of these deals in 2 months, we're only using 2% of interest. Think about that. Yes, it's a 12% loan, but timing is everything, guys. So $120,000 times 1%, okay? That is $1,200 per month. That's what this loan is gonna cost you every single month, okay? Now let's say, we're not gonna get too deep into the numbers, but let's just say we know our purchase price is $100,000, our repairs are $30,000. Let's just say closing costs, we know our points is 3%, so we pay this up front. So let's look at what all these numbers totaled up is gonna look like, right? So our purchase price, okay? Purchase price is $100,000. Our repair budget, this is what we're gonna spend on repairs, is $30,000. And all we're looking at now, let's look at the estimated profit we should be making from this property to put this interest, to put this high interest into perspective, okay? So we've got a purchase price of $100,000. We've got repairs of $30,000. Now, when we bought this property, remember, we had to pay 3% points, upfront origination fee. Now that 3% was based on your total principal amount, which is how we got down here. 3% of your points times $120,000 is $3,600 upfront, okay? So we already know we have, it's called origination charges when you close, okay? So we're gonna bake all these numbers in. So this is $3,600. And then the other things we're gonna have in here, your closing costs, estimate about 5%. So 5% of your purchase price, which is gonna be the $100,000, okay? It's not gonna be based off of your total loan balance. It's gonna be your purchase price, which is the $100,000. So let's just budget another $5K for closing costs and everything on top of that, just to keep it simple. And we're gonna do closing costs. All right, so let's do $3,000 on that. Purchase price, repairs, origination, closing costs. All right, so we're at a total of $136,600. Okay, this is your total costs out the door with your origination fees, with your closing costs, with your repairs baking in. You're at $136,000. Now remember, when you sell this property, you're gonna sell this property for your ARV that you've already calculated for $200,000, okay? Let's look at all this together now, okay? So this is your all-in cost. Now, when we go to sell this property, we're gonna do here, sales price is $200,000. Now, we call this the rule of 10%. So whenever you're selling a property on the market with an agent, you're gonna pay 6% for realtor commissions, you're gonna pay about 2 to 3% for closing costs, and another 2 to 3% for margin, renegotiation after inspection, blah, 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 right? It's gonna be roughly about 10%. So you're gonna have about 10% in fees, which is gonna be roughly $20,000. A little bit on the high end, but again, it's always good when you're projecting these numbers, always try to be as conservative as possible. If it ends up being less, that's great, but if it ends up being more, you already accounted for it, so there's not really a lot of surprises. Okay, so your $20,000 minus your 10%, okay, we have here your 10% in fees, so your gross on the sale of this property is gonna be $180,000. Okay, now we've already calculated on this side, we've already calculated our all-in costs, our purchase price plus our repairs, our origination charges when we bought it, our closing costs. We're out the door $136,600. We sold this property for $200,000, less all of our fees, realtor commissions, closing costs, doc prep fees, filing fees, fee, all of the above. Now we're at $180,000. Now we take this $180,000 and subtract out $136,600, that number is gonna come out to $43,400, okay? And this is gonna be what we call potential profit, okay? Now, This is where the cost for hard money really comes to play. Why speed is so important. This is why people say time is money. When you're dealing with hard money, time is absolutely costing you money every single month that you're in that hard money loan. So we've already calculated that this loan is gonna cost us $1,200 per month. It's $120,000 loan balance principal, and it's 1% of interest per month. So it's gonna cost us $1,200 per month. Now let's say we're flipping this property and it takes us 6 months to get this deal sold. From the time we bought it and closed, and we paid this total amount, $136,600, and then we did all the repairs, and then we got the property cleaned up, we staged the property, put it on the market. It took 30 days to close, and then it took another 15, 20, 30 days for funding to happen with the end buyer, but it got sold. But all that entire process got done in 6 months. Your fee that you're gonna have here, let's erase this line so we can make a little bit more room. Now, so our hard money costs, our interest, that's the last thing we have to take care of, okay? What is our interest charges? Our monthly interest. We've already paid our origination fee, but now we've got to account for our monthly interest. We said it's gonna take us 6 months. 6 months times $1,200. And remember guys, with hard money, it's interest only. You're not paying down principal, it's only interest. That's it. It's only interest, guys. When your property is sold, you're still gonna have that $120,000 loan balance, but it's all baked in here because we've already calculated in here, which is what our total all-in cost of $136,600, and that's gonna be basically your payoff as well, okay? Well, this is all your expenses plus the loan balance, so everything is already included in there, okay? So we don't need to go through that too much. So our interest is 6 months times $1,200. That's going to be 6,000 plus 20, that's gonna be $7,200 in monthly interest over 6 months. So now we're going from potential profit to your actual profit. Now the deal is done, it's 6 months, we know it's already calculated. Now I've gotta put this up on my phone. I'm pretty good at math, but I don't wanna get this wrong. So we've got $43,400 minus $7,200 of 6 months of interest. Our profit on the deal is $36,200. Now the question I have to ask for you guys was that hard money really too expensive? You paid $7,200 plus your origination, so you're all in for your hard money. You're all in about $10,800 for your interest. But if you never paid that $10,000 in interest, you wouldn't have had the money to even be able to buy this deal. So you always have to think of your opportunity costs. So you spent $10,000 to make $36,000. That means you did a 300% return in 6 months. Actual 300% return, actually a little bit more than 300%. You almost did 350% return. You did a $10,000 investment to make $36,000 in 6 months. That return is insane. So my question to you guys, if you knew that if you spent, every time you spent $10,000, that you were gonna get $36,000 back in the bank, would that be a good investment for you? It's your answer, not mine. So again, guys, when we're looking at loans and we're looking at hard money loans, high interest loans or whatever, it's all about the mindset you're using this with. You have to have leverage to build wealth in real estate. If you're using leverage the correct way, there's a lot of money to be made. So we just have to change our mindset of how do we use hard money to our advantage so that we're making the most amount of money and also really understanding the numbers so that we're not being surprised, right? The most important thing in this business is your education, guys. And I want you guys to really understand the fundamentals of hard money, how to calculate the interest, your origination charges. What do the numbers really look like when you're buying and selling these deals? Because a lot of times, I'm sure you guys know this with all the people being flashy in real estate, what they would really show you is that they sold this property for $200,000 and they got it under contract for $100,000. And you're automatically thinking like, man, it's a $200,000 ARV, they got it under contract for $100,000. Man, they could make $100,000. Absolutely not. Or they might say $100,000 purchase price plus 30,000 repairs, they're all in for $130,000 and they sold it for $200,000, made $70,000. Well now, looking at the numbers, financing charges, closing costs and everything, we know that's not right, guys. So this is super important for you to really know how these numbers look whenever you're really trying to build your real estate business and on your real estate journey. And so hopefully this is something that's super valuable for you guys in really understanding the fundamentals of hard money, which is what we went through in part 1, but now understanding how do I actually use hard money to my advantage and really know my numbers and understand my numbers just like we did here on the board. Now I know this is a lot of numbers, guys, but once you do this a few times, it's super simple. But if you guys have any questions after watching this video, I know we talked about a lot, but if you have any questions, make sure you shoot a DM, shoot some comments below. Let me know if if you guys have any questions. If we need to do a follow-up video, maybe a part 3 for any questions that you have, let's do it. Let's talk about it, because if you have a question, I'm sure someone else has a question about it too. So let's be a community, guys. Let's work together. Let's get this money. So again, guys, if this was valuable for you, or if there's anyone in your friend circle, your family circle who's wanting to get into real estate, really want to understand the fundamentals of real estate investing, real estate 101, guys, make sure you hit that share button. Make sure you share this video with as many people as you can, and let's get that algorithm up. Let's get these free gems, this free value to as many people as possible, guys. I've spent a lot of money on real estate education, and I'm here to give it to you guys for free. Free 99. All I'm asking for you to do, hit that subscribe, hit that follow button, guys. Let's engage, let's talk it out, and let's get this money together, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.